I've opened up a new window in VS Code. I'm going to open a folder, and I think I want to open the code folder where I'm storing my React Native projects. What do you want to do? Okay, you can watch it and then you can follow through later more closely. If you want to follow along, you're welcome to. I think there's value in that. Do you need a repo? Okay. So I'm going to go to my terminal. And I did a thing, I'm trying a new thing here. If you say npx create expo app at latest, when you input this command, the first thing it tells you is to choose from available templates, you can use the -- template option. And I was really curious about that. So I'm going to Control C to exit out of this and add the -- template. When you do this, it shows you the templates that Expo has already made, and they are default, which I think is what we did for the previous app. There's blank, so as minimal app, basically a pretty minimal app that doesn't have a bunch of screens and stuff made. Blank with TypeScript enabled, navigation with TypeScript, and bare, which is really blank. So since we've been doing default, I wanted to try out navigation, which is going to be a different template that just has 2 tabs, and each screen has, to me, a pretty standard layout of a screen. Also, I learned it has a modal screen. A modal screen is one that pops up on top of everything else that you have to do something to dismiss to get back to the rest of the app. That's what modal means. So they've got a nice example of that. So I'm going to choose the navigation this time, and I'm going to call this the progress indicator. And now it's going to install the stuff. So going back to my ChatGPT, there are these 2 progress indicators that I would like to try out. I tried out both of them, and the first one, I didn't get what I wanted to with this second one, but I didn't know that without trying it out. So I'm going to go with this first one. So I've noticed that this is the name of the library of this thing, React Native Circular Progress Indicator. If you went to Google and you Googled this, you will find wherever this is on NPM. Here we go. So this library is on NPM. Looks like it was published 3 years ago. It's version 2.0.5. We could actually look around on here for other React Native circular progress indicator. This one looks newer and better. Look at all that. Wait, that's the one I want. Maybe that actually is the one that I have. That's cool, right? So you can see several different effects that it has. So this is what I want to execute, is the npm install React Native Circular Progress Indicator. So I'm going to copy that, come to here. Let's see, right at this moment, I'm in the folder, I'm in the parent folder. So I need to cd into my app, cd progress indicator. And then I'm going to paste in the npm install, this React Native Circular Progress Indicator, to install that package into my app. So this is the process of incorporating other people's code into your code. It's this easy. npm I, or you can write the whole word install out, the name of their library. And you've got to make sure you get it right based on what's on npm. I'm actually going to come in here and open the folder of my app because I'd rather that be the root of this project. Get rid of that. So you'll notice in this project, it's very close to what we had before. It's just slightly different. Oh, sure, there's an Expo Tools. Oh, have y'all done this already? It's like Expo has their own VS Code extension. I'll try that. Okay, under app, there's tabs, and there's an index and a 2. So let's just, I guess first we should see what this app looks like without us making any changes. So we're going to say npm run start, just like we're used to, and that runs the start script. Hang on. I'm running this app, and so it's already listening on another port. So there's my first one. Okay. So I'm going to redo this again, npm run start, after having killed the other app that was running. And let's see if I can open in iOS. She does that, so I'm going to say Shift and I. I did, because we just recreated this project, it created this project in the new version of Expo, the 54 that it was wanting to upgrade. The first time I ran it, it said, do you want to upgrade the Expo app on your emulator? And I said, yes. Y'all may have already done this. So that was another thing I wanted to do in this, was to make sure that we created this app under the new version of Expo and React Native and all that. Whatever the stuff changed that broke some stuff. So here's the progress indicator app as it stands. At the moment, this is what it gives us. It gives us 2 tabs, tab 1 and tab 2. Yeah, pretty amazing. Also, we can click this info button up here, this top right button, and see the modal. So none of these things have anything interesting on them. I could swipe down there. I think I can also tap up here, maybe. No, swipe down works. So we've got those components built into this. I think this is not quite as much stuff as was in the other one, but the modal was different than what we had in that other template. If you note, if you go under index, you'll see this is what's under index. There's an edit screen info, which is basically like all of the text here. So if I take this edit screen info out, then I just have this thing that says tab 1, and then there's this separator bar. Okay. This is the second screen. It also has this edit screen info as well. Now notice that we've seen a couple of these patterns before. If you close the tabs folder, you'll see that there's a underscore layout.tsx. So this is like the, I don't know what you call it, like the main page template. So it has a bunch of standard stuff in it, which to me is kind of nice to already have this set up. It looks like it's bringing in a special font. It's got some use effects around errors and loading, but mostly you see this, we have a theme provider that's handling our dark theme, light theme. There's a stack component that has 2 stack screens defined. And actually, this is a little surprising. These aren't the 2 tabs. There's a tabs screen and there's a modal screen. And this is set up to be presentation modal, and that means whenever you show the modal screen, it pops up in the way that it did on top. The tab screen here, this is using that file-based routing. The parentheses tabs is saying there's a tabs component that's defined in here, and if you look at the layout screen in the tabs folder, then that's like the base layout, the template for all the tabs. This is the base screen for everything in the app. So if you look at this underscore layout TSX, you see they have to set up the tab bar icons, and then here's the tabs screen here, which defines, make this a little smaller. It defines 2 screens, this guy named index and this guy named 2. So this one says tab 1, and you see over here, it says tab 1 at the top, that's the title. So if we wanted to call this home instead, we could do that. And now it says home here at the top title. Then to me, the magic here is the screen that gets shown there, we don't have to define. I don't think we define it, do we? I think by just giving it the name, which is index.tsx, by putting the name index, That's the connection there. Also, you see this, there's a pressable up here. That pressable is this Font Awesome button, info circle. Maybe that feels a little too big. Now the info thing is smaller. So that's what's defining this guy. You can see the it's inside of a link. So because it's inside a link, what it does is it goes to /modal. And what that does in the file-based router is it causes the modal to show. Okay, that was a lot there. Okay, so let's go into our index. And we're going to take this out. And I want to call this progress. Sure. And let's see if we can put in one of these guys. So I want to bring in a circular progress from this React Native circular progress indicator. I'm going to copy this and see if I can't and paste it up here. Okay, don't save. Look, if you save, it just goes away. That's annoying. Why does it do that? It's because it sees that I didn't use it. So I'm going to first pass take this whole circular progress component and put it here in the view. I get a red squiggly for value because I don't have a value. They pass value in to this component. And just for super simple version here, I'm just going to create a variable. Let's have a reasonable number, 13. Maybe you want to just call this meals. I'm going to imagine I've got 13 meals remaining. And so that variable needs to be called meals. So let's see if it works. That shows something. That is really showing something. Notice there's a %. I mean, it's purple because I defined purple there. That bothers me. If I had a point, I don't understand why it's not understanding the data type or something. By adding that decimal point, it definitely changed. Did you see that? Let me see, watch this. I don't understand that, so that's something that's weird. Yeah, I don't like that at all. All right, notice there is a max value. So really our max value would have been, what we say, 14 meals a week. And let's say we've got 12. Let's see, value suffix. So we don't need a suffix because really these are meals. So I'm going to delete that. One thing that I noticed, if you do control dot, this causes IntelliSense to happen. And what's cool is then it knows the things that are allowed for this control. So without exactly even reading their documentation, I can see what these different things are. So I see that there's a subtitle. That sounds interesting to me because that sounds like words that would be more detailed. So I can fit the word meals there. I noticed that if I said meals remaining, there's not enough room, and I could not make it enough room hardly. Now, so I can change the radius. So if I make this 78, then that gets bigger. I don't know, maybe you want to do that. This really bothers me that that's going down to 1. I'm going to come down here on R to refresh it to make it reload. It's showing the right number, that's the amount that would be 12 out of 14, but that doesn't show that. You see, I can change this color. The inactive is the bar that's behind there. Active then is, you can see what that is, right? It's the foreground color. The stroke is probably the width. So let me make this 20. So that's much thicker. I guess you could have interesting. That's a little gross. I don't know, would that ever look good? Probably not. Seems like you would want it to be the same. Progress value style. Looks like this is how I can change the font weight of the text in there. You see that? So you can control the styling of that text. Notice in all this though, like what I'd like to do, I'm pretty sure I can't do, which is I can't create a new view that has text and have complete control of what's going on inside of there with this control. I mean, there might be a way of hacking it. If that's what we want to do, which I kind of want to do, then we got to shop for another control. That's why I actually like the other control better. But when I did it with the other control, like ChatGPT said, it just gave me errors. And it seemed like it didn't support having children inside that component. What I wanted to demonstrate here, I see that I'm out of time, but like this is what I want to equip you to do. On the whole, making stuff is not you making stuff from scratch. It's you finding pre-made components. Other people have probably solved this problem, that you might find junk solutions out there, other components that don't actually solve your problem, but testing them out, I think, is a key thing so that you can like end up looking way better, way smarter than maybe you actually, like you didn't have all that information. I didn't know how to do that this morning, but I asked and then messed around with it and building on top of other people's stuff. So I think I would call this like component-oriented engineering is where we want to be. I really think that I would like us to move forward and try to, I would like you to make a V2 of this home screen dashboard app, but you can do it on, figure out your design. If you want to use a radial gauge we could also have linear progress indicators, but make another version that's more infographic based. You with me? Like if you look up how dashboards are usually made, and then I want us to see if you can make a UI like that, but you can customize it. If you want to go straight with what these radial gauges, that's fine, but I want us to like lay out the stuff that you want on there. Don't worry about the menu page. Don't worry about that history page. Let's just focus on, can we make a good looking dashboard? And our big takeaway is we're going to learn how to use somebody else's tools. It may not be this tool that you want to use, but somebody else. All right? So come back with a V2 of your paper prototype or digital if you'd rather make it digital. Thank you, guys.